Ask the expert. Ask the expert. Ask the expert, they'll know what to do. Ask the expert. Ask the expert. Ask the expert, they'll know what to do.
Hello and welcome back to Ask the Expert. This is part 2 of our first episode, which is all about Rediscover Furniture. We're joined by Gerard Griffin again, our program manager for Rediscover Furniture. Welcome back, Gerard.
Thanks, Ed.
Gerard, how long have you been head of furniture in Rediscovery Centre?
Oh, I joined the Rediscovery Centre in 2010, the year of the big snow.
All right, okay. So 10 years. And,
yes, yeah.
One of the focuses of Rediscover Furniture is, and the Rediscovery Centre in general, is to divert discarded materials from the landfill and find a repurpose and a reuse for them. Do you have any indication as to tonnage, how many tons you might have saved in those 10 years?
Oh, in the 10 years, that's it. Well, I can give you a figure for last year, and it varies from year to year depending on you know how busy we are and how many participants we have working in with us. I think last year was just over 2 tons last year. Okay. Of furniture alone. I can't tell you what the other social enterprises have done, but I think it's just over 2 tons of furniture last year.
Great.
It has been higher in the past because we have done it differently in the past. But you know, things change all the time. So it's
well, that's fantastic. Just for 1 year to get 2 tons diverted from the landfill, it just goes to show how hard you and your team are working down there.
Yes, we do put in a good shift.
Great. Well, look, we'll get back to the questions here. We dealt with 2 yesterday, and they were to do with varnishing and painting. Our next question, it comes in from Anne in Cork. So we see here a picture of a bureau. Now, she says that she has this bureau in her room. She likes it, but it's getting a little old and it's hard to open the drawers.
Right.
It's constantly getting stuck when she tries to open them. What can she do to fix them? She wouldn't say that she's amazing at DIY, but maybe with a little bit of instruction, she might be able to get it working. So what's your thoughts on this, Ger?
Okay. Sorry, Anne. The first thing you should do is to take out half the items. It's overloaded. It's not made for to be quite as full as that. Maybe it's just the way the photograph was taken. But generally, if those items are heavy, they're causing a lot of wear on the sides. That's a nice bureau. It's I would say from the 1970s. It's a teak veneered. A teak veneered piece from the 1970s. It has the dark timber around the edges are solid teak, and the main structure of it will be probably chipboard, but it will be veneered in teak from the 1970s. Still, it's a nice piece, and you know, people find them very desirable. They're called retro pieces now, so that's 1970s furniture. The wear on this is caused by excessive weight in the drawers. If you see in one of the photographs there that the drawers, the sides of the drawers have grooves cut in them. Those grooves marry up with a slip or a solid piece of timber that's nailed to the inside of the carcass of the piece. Now, you have timber rubbing against timber, and that's where your wear is happening. There's no metal parts involved or anything like that. And with the excess weight that's in the drawers, you've got excess wear. It would require a cabinet maker or a carpenter to replace the pieces on the inside of the carcass. They're probably if you slip the drawers out, you'll probably find that there's a lot of dust around them, that there is wear on them. They probably would need to be replaced. There are situations where you sometimes recut the groove in the drawer side. That's not something that's going to be done by somebody at home, but it is possible to do it. That a local cabinet maker will do it for you. But in the meantime, if you take out half of the stuff out of the drawers and get an old Christmas candle and rub it into the groove that's on the side of the drawer, you will be amazed at how the drawer will begin to run freely again.
How does that work? Explain the signs to me there, Gerard. How does that work? And does it have to be scented?
It's certainly not scented. No, no, and not lit either. Candle wax, ordinary paraffin wax, candle wax. Not the wax polish now that you polish your furniture with, but just a solid candle wax. Just pop the end of it into the groove and rub it backwards and forwards, just to cover the groove with some candle wax, and it makes a huge difference.
I have to say, my grandmother used to have one of these, and just pretty much just like Anne, it was packed to the brim as well. It must be just the nature of these types. You just want to cram as much stuff in as possible.
I know, yeah. No, it's not made. It's not made to take that weight.
Yeah, but I have to say, I do remember hard drawers being quite stiff as well.
Yeah.
Which wears first, the tongue or the groove, or is it?
They would wear equally. Well, that's an interesting one. They should wear equally. The sides are more than likely a soft mahogany, and the runner on the inside is more than likely a piece of beech. Beech is far more hard wearing than mahogany, so I would say that the drawer sides are possibly warm, more so than the runner, the beech runner on the inside. I've done a few of these in the past. And they're not an easy fix, but they are fixable. As in generally what I would do in the workshop here. Just a quick idea of what we do. We would replace the slip on the inside of the carcass, and then we would recut the groove to give it a smooth, clean edge. Because if you look at the groove, you'll find that it has a rounded over appearance where the groove is just simply worn. So you cut away the worn part and put in a new slip to take up that portion. That's basically what we would do.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for your advice there, Gerard. Hopefully that was helpful now, Anne. We'll move on. Question number 4 comes from Niamh and Marino. So here we have a radio record player that she was recently given. When it's plugged in, the record player turns and you can hear static crackling on the radio. So there is some sort of functionality there. As you can see, it is in quite good condition, but there's some scratches and there's a wobbly leg. She'd love to get it back in working order if possible. And she's wondering, is this something that we would be able to do at the Rediscovery Centre? Now, Gerard, I have to say, she's saying it's in great condition. I mean, if I got that, I'd think, oh no, this is a lost cause.
Certainly not from our end. The cabinet work is very doable. So any decor, as in repolishing, repair to the outside of it, that's all very much redoable. There's nothing there that's beyond our capabilities. Where I would be a little bit lost myself would be on the electronics and the radio. That I would ask another expert to look at first. And we can talk about that if she wanted to go down the line of getting it done. But as I said, the doing the cabinet work is just grist to the mill here. It's what we do, and it's one of those situations again. As I mentioned in a previous answer to another question, you dismantle it as best you can. You take it. I would remove the record player, remove the radios if possible, so it's not getting damage being thrown around the workshop, and the general wear and tear that would happen in a workshop situation. Ideally, it would go to another expert to get that work done, and then it would be all refitted. I'd say this would be a lovely piece if we can find the right person to do the electronic work. I think this would be a cracker of a piece. It really would. And I'd say it sounds smashing. Those old radiograms sometimes have great speakers in them. You'd know yourself, Ed, from your background as well, from the working in with sound and stuff like that.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you can see here the speakers are quite big, all right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say they're lovely. Yeah, great quality. It's the same. Do you remember the old valve radios? I don't know if there's a valve radio in this one. It might not be as old as that, but they have great sound off them. They're lovely, and even to retain the screen from the radio tuner would be lovely. It's all great sentimental work. It'd be really nice to do it.
What would your approach be with this particular one then? Would this be a stripped down job, or is it adding to it?
No. I think I would have to remove the surface. The surface on that, Ed, is probably a very early sprayed varnish. It's not French polished, and if you go at it with a paint remover, it comes off like glue. It's dreadful stuff to strip. As I say, it's a very early sprayed on varnish or lacquer. With any luck, it would come off, mechanically, as in some of it would scrape off, and then you finish it with a paint stripper. But otherwise, if you go at this with a paint stripper straight away, it's very difficult to remove. And then it's a question of repolishing. Whether the client would want it to look the same, as in colour-wise, we can colour it to the same colour, or else when you remove, there's a lot of colour contained within the polish itself. So when you remove the polish, you actually come up a much lighter colour. I don't know if that's really desirable. It might be nice just to retain that appearance of its original colour. Retaining the original surface, I don't think that's really possible for us to do that. Otherwise, you'd have a bit of a mix and match. The top looks in a distressed condition, so that would have to be repolished, and it'd be difficult to get that to match the size in the front. I would hazard a guess to say that the front would have a very crackled appearance on it. Generally they do. By the time they get to us in the workshop, the original varnish is very crackled, and probably could do with being removed and being reapplied a new varnish on it. But it's all, as I say, it's all doable if we can find the right person to do the electronics.
Great. Hopefully that answers the question there then. So thank you very much to Niamh from Marino for sending that one in. It's good to know that all of these, the answer is pretty much a positive yes to everything. I mean, you seem very kind of like nothing's impossible. It seems to be your attitude, Gerard.
Absolutely. The thing, like a lot of items are repairable. Like I've been at it a long time, and there's very, very few times that you would turn around and say that it's not doable. And it's also managing people's expectations as well. Some items can go back to a client looking as if they've just come straight out of the shop. Other items go back looking as if they've been through the wars, through the mill, but still retain their structure, their sentimental attachment for the client, and it's good to retain items, regardless of whether you can get them back in working condition or not. We can do a lot of stuff here in the workshop.
Great, and once we're back reopened and we're back doing what we used to do, this is a flavour of some of the stuff that it would take part in some of your workshops. Do you want to tell us just a little bit about what people might expect when they log on to rediscoverycentre.ie and they look at upcoming events for later in the year? What kind of events might they expect?
Yes, well, surely I hope to be doing a restoration and French polishing workshop later in the year for sure. Generally, like night classes. That's how we would work. Certainly, a lot of work. It looks like we're going to be doing a lot more online. I think I'm doing an online workshop on this coming Friday for a group of teachers. I'm looking forward to that, actually. It's something completely new, and also looking forward to getting the lads back in the workshop as well. I have a great team of guys here in the workshop, and I'm looking forward to meeting up with them again and getting them back. And they're keen to come back, which is tremendous.
Yeah. I think we all are. So thanks very much for your time, Gerard, and hopefully those watching have picked up a couple of tips. I know I have, and thank you very much for tuning in. Over the next coming weeks, we're going to look at a couple of different social enterprises, and we'll ask some other experts. But for now, Gerard, if there's any more questions, would you be happy to come back on again and answer them in the future?
Oh, without a doubt, Ed. Yeah, absolutely. It's what I do all the time here. The people are ringing all the time anyway and asking for advice, and it's what I encourage people to do as well. With I have for workshops and for any projects that people are taking on at home. I've always asked them, please send me a photograph or ring and ask our advice on it, so that we can prevent any mishaps. We don't want people trying to paint 18th century Irish carved tables, or as I say, that lovely Dutch chair, as I mentioned before in the previous answer. You just don't want people making those sort of mistakes. So by all means, contact us.
Absolutely. Well, I suppose then that's what we're here for. So if you have any questions, ask the expert.
Thanks, Ed.
Thank you very much, and see you soon.
I hope so. Take care.
Bye.
Ask the expert. Ask the expert. Ask the expert. They'll know what to do. Ask the expert. Ask the expert. Ask the expert. They'll know what to do.